We're closed?
Yeah, we're closed.
Nice.
I did a little over $680,000 yesterday from two of my businesses. If you don't know who I am, my name is Hayden Bowles. I'm currently at my home here in Puerto Rico, and I really hope you enjoy this video. Give me a like down below, and let's jump in.
Hey there, how you doing? You look pretty good today. I'm really excited for this video. This is something super cool. I want to share a couple learning experiences. Yesterday, I closed on a property and got my wire for $217,000 and change as I completed this project. What's interesting, I purchased this property from somebody that I bought another property from before, and I paid $530,000. Well, this thing was kind of a piece of crap. Take a look. I'll throw up a picture. This thing was interesting. We did a lot of work to it. There was a couple bumps along the way, but I'm still very happy with the outcome. So let's talk about it. Out of the title, $670,000 of that involved this real estate transaction. The additional $12,000 and change was from my business. I have the e-commerce stuff where we mostly run TikTok and Facebook ads for my e-commerce brands. Been doing that for 6 years. And then we have the training programs that you can find links below. Some of the best rated programs in the e-commerce industry for a reason. We teach people how to run paid ads for e-commerce businesses, whether you're drop shipping or not. You can check those out. Freaking sick. And we have a dope community behind it. So let's talk about the real estate. If you guys know me, you know I've started buying millions and millions of dollars worth of real estate over the last couple of years for a couple reasons. I like it, number one. Number two, I needed a place to put my capital. Stocks was not going to be it. Crypto, absolutely freaking not. NFTs, are you high? Really? Like, come on, forget about that. So real estate for me was the place. Doing a lot of stuff right now. About to close on a $3.6 million property, 48 units that'll take $1.4 million. Just got the final build plans and site approved for a $12.5 million storage facility. It's a big A-class storage facility in Houston, Texas. We're looking at that site or another couple that we're considering. And when I say we, I'll explain that in a second. Doing that with two other partners. Looking to build some storage. So doing other stuff in the real estate industry. I'm not a flipper. I'm a long-term guy. I've never flipped a property, never wholesaled a property. I've only ever sold one property ever, and I regret it, naturally, as you always do with real estate. But it's one of those things where I wanted to learn, and this is the perfect property to do it. Great opportunity. Now, I got something to confess, okay? I never actually saw this property. Not when I was under contract, not before I sent a $125,000 wire to close, not when we were renovating it. I've never stepped inside the unit, and not when we closed. Still never even driven by it. But I know exactly where it is. It's in a market where I own other stuff, and I have a beautifully, beautifully put together team in Arizona that is so amazing and handles all my stuff. So we've been renovating a ton of units, turning over one of my 6 units, another 4-plex that I have in the long term, changing around a couple stuff with some single family homes, and they've just been crushing it. And also on top of that, they took on this project. So let's talk about the numbers. I'm going to bring you over here so we can put the numbers here. I paid $530,000 for this property. I sent my property management company another $58,000 for all renovations. We completely gutted these units. We didn't tear down walls and stuff, but gutted it, repaired roofs, paint the outside, new doors, new windows, stainless steel appliances, flooring, paint, hardware, cabinets, countertops, new driveway, asphalt driveway, turf in the front, redoing all the fences, like a full overhaul on this property, like a friggin' deep project, right? Much more than I would do on a long-term hold. However, did all that. Part of that money also includes something that I think most business owners won't do, which is being a grown damn adult and taking care of other people. In real estate, your tenants are your customers. Just like somebody buys from one of my e-commerce sites or you buy my e-commerce program, you're a customer. And in this case, a tenant is a customer. 2 out of the 4 tenants had long-term leases, meaning they had the right to be there for another 8 months or so. All 4 of these tenants had been there for over a decade. It's very serious. The rents were extremely low, of course, but we needed all of them to leave and vacate the property so that we could do this renovation. So what did I do? I sent my property management company down there to have a kind, professional, human interaction with them and say, here's what we have going on. Here's what we're doing. How can we help? You know, for 2 of those guys, we did have the right to tell them to vacate the property with 30-day notice. We gave each and every person a nice check to leave the property. This is called cash for keys. It's not uncommon, but I don't think most people would do it when they don't have to. So we did pay everybody. This allowed for a few things. Number one, they got out a little faster. Number two, it helped them out. That just makes me feel good. I'd rather make sure everybody gets paid before I do. Number three, on this side of things, it also made sure they didn't destroy anything. They took good care of it. A lot of times you kick someone out, they might be pissed, put a few holes in the wall, some stuff that'll, waste your time and money. So a couple things like that, just general good sentiment, good karma, whatever. So that was $58,000. I used hard money on this project, right, which is pretty standard for flips. Therefore, and I'll move you guys back over here, I came to the table with $125,000 of my own money to close on the project, right? I also added another $58,000 for all the renovations and stuff of my own money. But a hard money company, a lender that I've worked with before, they put up another $405,000 to close on the project. So I paid $24,000 in hard money expenses over the exact 6 months. That includes the loan origination fee. It was $18,000 in holding costs, $3,000 a month times 6. And then we had a 1.5 point, which is 1.5% loan origination fee, $6,000. That brings us to $24,000. So that's how much I spent on hard money costs. Okay, closing costs to sell the property, $42,770. That goes to both the buyers and sellers' real estate agent. And I want to point something out here before I get into any more specific, because this is the coolest thing about this whole project, and I genuinely mean it when I said I would rather have everybody else get paid before I get paid. I made a list. I'm going to read from the list here. I never read from lists on YouTube. I gave real estate agents $42,770. And by the way, my real estate agent, I've jumped out of planes with her. Pretty sick. So I gave the agents money. Gave my property management $58,000, which was dispersed to multiple vendors, employed contractors for months, and left profit in their pocket. My hard money lender made $24,000 in profit just for lending me the money. I paid tenants to leave when I didn't have to, which made them happy. The attorney got paid, the appraiser got paid, the title company got paid. The city will get an increase in property tax revenue because the property is transacted at a higher price point. I added curb appeal to the neighborhood. 4 people or families will now have nicer places to live in a market with a housing shortage. I set a comp for neighboring properties, meaning their property values are now higher. Also, the buyer got a great product that I'm sure they will do very well with. Those are the things that are important to me in this transaction. I really don't give a damn if I made $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. Like at some point, yeah, sure, an extra $30,000 is great. Like, but it's not going to materially change anything. And while this is a business transaction and I have to make money, the exact dollar amount of that was not the priority with this purchase. I don't do flips. It's not my forte. We were not the most efficient on renovations. I could name 10 things right now where we could have trimmed $15,000 in expenses and probably should have. But hey, lessons learned, right? I wanted to do this property from a learning experience, and I wanted to make a couple bucks. That was it. Okay? And it was just one of those fun experiences. Now, I got bit in the butt pretty hard during this because the market changed. And the market changed hard. You saw what happened with interest rates over the years. Arizona, while it's one of the strongest rental markets and just housing markets in general, well, it wasn't completely, not affected by this. It was massively affected. Inventory shot up, demand completely collapsed because of interest rates. And so while I originally projected this property to sell for $700 on a bad day to $730 if COVID pricing stayed, which I was perfectly on the money. I know my market. Don't play with me with my market. I know my market. I know the rents. I know every number. That's why I could buy this property without seeing it or thinking about it, because I knew what it would bring. However, I didn't know something, and this was the learning experience out of this. I didn't know that the appraiser would come back and say, I'm taking $30,000 off the value because all 4 bathrooms are only accessible if you go through the bedroom. First of all, I didn't even know the bathrooms were only accessible through the bedroom because I didn't even see the property, right? Now, my agent should have caught that. He didn't know better. I actually switched agents mid-project and had to go with another one after my agent had been there for about 5 weeks, dropped the price 4 times, just wasn't quite pushing hard enough given the current market condition that we needed. So I brought it to someone else who I knew would do a little bit more salesy stuff. So she crushed it, got under contract at what we wanted to at $695,000 in like 5 days, which was great. But we had to drop the price by $30,000. So lesson learned. I also had to spend a little bit more on renovation to meet that appraiser qualification so that the buyer could get their debt. So this was like a complete kick in the butt. It was an agent's calling me right now, actually. Anyways, this was one of those things where it was just kind of a problem, and it knocked off about $30,000 of profit. So I should have made 40 grand here. I made 10. Totally happy with that, although it's not ideal from a financial perspective. Now, after hundreds of comments on YouTube and Instagram, I posted something on Instagram, a little teaser that people really liked, talking about the 3 things I'm doing as we move into this recession and current market climate. Everybody was like, what's going on? The market's collapsing. Look, you see a lot of YouTube videos with fire in the thumbnails and red graphs, and I know a lot of the guys making those videos. There's no hate against them. They're doing their clickbait thing and making money. But understand this isn't like a doomsday preparation. These are just 3 very simple freaking things that I'm doing that are going to assist. So 3 things that are important to me. Number 1, no short-term debt. This property and another property had short-term debt on it. So getting rid of this property, that solves 1 out of 2 problems. And the second one, which is a smaller apartment complex, a little 6-unit that I do want to keep, that I'm doing a refinance on. I'll put it on long-term debt with some, local bank, I think is what we're doing. So very simple getting rid of that. Should be self-explanatory, but I have no auto loans, no student debt, no consumer debt, credit card debt. I mean, outstanding Amex bills, monthly, rolling basic stuff, but no short-term debt. That's just not for me. The only debt I have is long-term debt with real estate. I'm perfectly comfortable with that, okay? Number 2, liquidity. Well, doing this liquidity event, got my $217,000 wire. That helps, but it's not like it's not a game changer. It's not like, I don't want to sound like a dick from that, but it's like I'm just trying to pile up more liquidity. But I'm not a seller. I'm not going to go sell all my properties that I purchased for the long term to do that. So I kind of have to keep my personal expenses low, keep stockpiling money, and keep everything in check. So, I'm not like buying crazy cars, doing anything right now. I actually sold the car recently, my Nissan GTR, gone, sold for a profit after, 8 months of ownership. So, having fun with that stuff. The luxury car market's taking a dip. So one day in the next year or two, I'm sure I'll buy some more crazy cars. I don't want to read off my list here with the liquidity, okay? The liquidity part does help, but I'm also spending money on a couple other things. So there's a 48 unit that I'm closing. That's taking $1.4 million in cash. That is a deal that I'm raising from a couple of accredited investors from. I'm also an investor in that deal. That's partnered on the GP side, the general partners, with my buddy Tim Bratz. He owns about 5,000 apartments, $400 million, freaking expert. Great, absolute gangster in real estate, good friend of mine. He's partnering with me on that project, which is great. Excited for it. We'll close on that in the next few weeks. Second thing, sites, plans, permits approved for a $12.5 million A-class storage facility in Houston, Texas. This is a project. We're considering that facility. We haven't bought the land, haven't bought any rights to it, but everything's approved. So there's a company that sells pre-approved stuff. We've gone through a lot of diligence with that stuff. We're looking at that site as well as a couple others, but I am looking at building storage. That's something I want to do. That project would be about $12.5 million. It would take $3.5 million. As I mentioned, that is something I would be doing with two other partners. We'd be splitting the capital equally in terms of upfront investments. It would take about 2 years for us to build and stabilize that property. It'd be worth about probably 22 million once we're done. But that would be a 2-year with no payments in the meantime, large upfront expense. Basically, me and one of those guys is there just for capital. The other guy has a ton of experience with storage. So, me and the other guy basically just there for money. Other than that, we made 16 point something million worth of offers last week, which is 2 offers, 2 LOIs that were sent out on commercial properties that we're looking to purchase under Bulls Capital. It was like 106 unit and some other 70 something, who knows. Always making offers on stuff, looking to buy more stuff, making offers on small stuff in Arizona. Car market, I'm sure I'll be able to find some deals. Always interested in that, And then the third thing that I put a lot of attention on is income. Primary income should be a key factor. For me, it's my business. I take a base salary and I take distributions out above that to invest with. Right, my base salary doesn't quite cover my expenses, but it gets there. It gets most of the way. So it's one of those things where, for me, my personal expenses right now, I don't want to sound like an ass, but I keep them very in check. Rarely do my personal expenses hit $15,000. They do if I'm traveling a lot or if I make a bigger purchase. I traveled a lot one month and I bought a new golf club set for $3,500. Is what it is. Sometimes it'll touch a little above that, but the reason I say it's not a lot because first of all, proportional to income, I always keep it. It's all about ratios. Number 2. Keep in mind, I have 2 homes, right? I travel a lot for work, and my travel cost is associated with that. So, you catch me on an airplane, I'm not in first class. Have I done it dozens of times? Yes. It has to make sense. Flight prices are finally coming down. They've been crazy the last 8 months. So, I'm paying $1,000 one way for an economy window seat. It's it sucks. But, it is what it is. Doing what we can to keep the money consistent. First class doesn't buy back more time. A private jet does, but I don't have enough money to make sense of that. So is what it is. Keeping those things, liquidity, no short-term debt, focusing on income. Those are things you can do. I really hope you enjoyed this video. The additional income beyond that, like I mentioned, is from the e-commerce business and the e-commerce training company, as well as our advertising agency, where we get a percentage of the net profit from our clients, where we run most of their business stuff for them. So it's been great. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Just wanted to break down some learning lessons and some stuff that's happened along the way. And with that being said, subscribe, like, follow me on Instagram, do all those things, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.